The Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gathered together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields. All right, welcome in, Cellar Dwellers. As always, I'm Mark.
And I'm Ivy.
And we are Blood in the Cornfields. Very excited to have our current guests on today. They are none other than Chopping It Up Horror Podcast. We have Jeannie, we have Jesse, and we have Joel with us. And we may be joined by another. the wonderful.
His name does not start with a J, though. So
so you don't have to let him in if you don't want to.
Yeah, we'll just the episode's just going to be us being like, no, no, and just filming his reaction every time. Like, he's son of a bitch, he's getting all pissed. No,
you sound like him.
We could just put like my face. Like something stupid over it, and it's just gonna show that, and he's like, what the hell is this? What is that weird looking guy? I don't want him around my children. So sorry, got off a little rant there.
That's what you got.
I know. We're excited because it's been a minute since we've done like another full podcast collaboration. We've been getting a lot of interviews. I see some dog butt. That's awesome. We're off to a great start. So yeah, I love dogs, so I am totally fine, even if it just chills there the whole time.
I will frequently mute because he's very vocal about anybody trying to live their life outside of our house.
That's awesome. The vet loves my dog name, so my dog's name is Peter Johnson. I talked to the vet, and he's a big nervous freak, so he's got to get his nails cut, but I have to pump him full of drugs. And they're like, what's your dog's name? And I said, Peter Johnson. And she laughed, and she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's Peter Johnson. That's my dog's name.
Oh, my gosh.
That was a great name.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, we are pretty excited to be doing another collaboration because it has been a minute. Honestly, I don't even remember the last one we did. Do you?
Oh, man.
Was it Final Girls?
It might have been.
It might have been. I don't know.
And Mark, you know what our last collaboration was? Final Girls. That was it.
Hey, maybe I'm good at this and I just teed you up.
Thank you.
But we are all here to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. I love movies where children get abused. I know that sounds terrible. And
Jesus Christ.
Yes, you do, actually.
Not that way. I love it when kids get the crap beat out of them by adults. Okay? It's on film. It's acceptable. Yes. I don't remember what movie we watched a while ago. When Evil Lurks. My favorite scene is when he gets out and knocks the shit out of that kid. Yep, that's my favorite. Yep. Everything else in the movie I didn't like.
We were just talking about that. We're going to tee that one up soon. We definitely have to cover it.
Yeah. That's awesome. But we're here to talk about Children of the Corn. A movie that is near and dear to us.
We are in Indiana.
Exactly. And I can't believe you guys had mentioned earlier that we hadn't done it before. And that's totally true.
Yeah, we're all on the East Coast here, well, except for Jeannie, but she grew up with us on the East Coast in Maryland, and growing up, believe it or not, I mean, cornfields everywhere. Joel used to have corn wars. You would run through the cornfield and
especially on the Eastern Shore.
Well, we would borrow, I'll say, the farmer's corn and throw it at each other, because there wasn't a lot to do in Germantown. So that was the big game at the time. And I
used to borrow a lot of things as a kid too.
Yes. I didn't keep it very long. I threw it at someone. So, but I've always found cornfields kind of creepy, and a lot of it, I think, comes from this movie. I was probably about 8 when I saw it, so that dates me.
That's a good age to see this film, I think, because I think I was about the same age too when I saw the film as well. Obviously,
I really think it's impactful when you're that age.
Yeah, oh definitely. It kind of gives you like this children or not children. Oh my god. Lord of the Flies kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
It's like, here's these kids thrown in this terrible situation or isolation and they got to like kind of band together, but also at the same time it's like you're being ruled by this dictator.
Well, with that, why don't you give us a synopsis breakdown, ma'am?
Well, we can get right into it, I guess. Rip that off like a band-aid.
Let's rip it off. Yeah, Well, see, we can always pause afterwards, but we get it out of the way and everybody knows.
That's
in case
fine.
There is, for some reason, some people who do not know what this movie is.
That's true. So, if people don't know, Children of the Corn is a Stephen King story that he originally wrote in Penthouse magazine.
Sweet.
But became part of a compilation of novels or a compilation novel, Night Shift. And it is like a very, very short story. And it's wildly different from the actual movie. I have not had the honor to read the full thing. Like, yes, it's this short, but I did not read all of it. I should have.
Who's got time for reading anyway?
I should.
Awesome.
Good job. Please do.
Thank
because
you.
all I know is that, like, when I first started reading it, the couple sucks. They are not nice people.
So the couple in the source material in the short story, they're actually married and have been married for a long time. So they're older and they're on the verge of divorce. And the first the first portion, King wrote the screenplay based on his own short, right? The first 40 minutes was just them arguing. And so, which is why it was taken away from him and they gave it to George, what's his name? George Goldsmith to redo the screenplay. Cause they were like, this doesn't work for film. And anyways, in the story, they hate each other and wait, we're doing spoilers, right? I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
So they make it to the town. They do this whole thing. At the end, they both get killed. The wife gets her eyes pulled out, and it's like she gets hanged on the cross, and everything awful. They both die, and the kids basically sustain themselves in the town.
Yeah, it's a very bleak ending. That's all I know about it. I didn't get to finish it, but
which would have been the most awesome film ending instead of the Hollywood ending.
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jesse, wasn't there another big difference that the two little kids that are I don't know that if you're watching this,
Job and Sarah, they don't exist in the story, but he needed George Goldsmith needed a way for the narrative to work instead of doing it all through the outside, the Outlanders, instead of doing it through Bert and Vicky. So he just created these two kids who were like in the crew and had them narrate.
I do kind of like that because they're like brother and sister. Yeah.
It moves things along well. I mean, the short story ending would have been like markedly better, but they wanted to really slasher it up and make it more friendly for the audience.
Yeah, as friendly as an R-rated movie can be in the 80s.
Right. Well, you could still, like we were saying, you could still stiff arm kids and throw them into the pews of the church without any reprisal. So, which Bert does left and right.
He does. He puts a lot of kids in their place in this movie.
You have to. Like when I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh, this is a dream come true to just beat the hell out of like 30 kids.
But it's funny the perspective that we were just talking about shifts, right? Like we watch it now and we're like, oh, dude, I could take out 6 to 8 of them easy.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it as a 10-year-old or like whatever, you look at it through the lens of Job and Sarah, right? Of like being 100%. Trapped. Yeah. So it was kind of neat to look at it that way.
No, my goodness. That's
and it's starring
analogy.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's starring a young Linda Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
starring a young Linda Hamilton. Pre-Terminator. And I was telling Jesse that, funny enough, she is from the same little town in Maryland that my wife is from, Salisbury, Maryland.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a little tiny town.
I didn't know that.
Yes, like 35,000 people.
Yeah. and I recognized Peter Horton with his long hair from back in 30 something.
Yep.
He's got the short hair in this, but like that picture. So right there, that's how I know him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Peter Horton from 30 something, but also Joel and I used to watch this awful. It was from 1990. This awful movie. It was a beach volleyball movie called Side Out. Did you ever hear that?
I saw that
he's in Side Out.
Where they would call doubles. They call multiples of whatever. Great.
Just so many.
That's awesome.
Well, it's funny about Peter Horton in the movie. I read that so they're courting each other. Obviously, the film version is different. These are a young couple courting each other, trying to figure out if they're going to settle down or not. Vicky, Linda Hamilton, is really trying to get him to commit, and he's really not trying to commit. She gives him the inscribed lighter, right? At some point in the car, she gives him an inscription. It has an inscription, to my MD, my darling, which is the double entendre on him becoming a doctor. And the lighter comes into play later when he eventually is able to light the Molotov cocktail that sets ablaze the whole field. So that's like Chekhov's lighter coming back to play later. Right. But I thought it was funny that during the whole movie, he only lights one cigarette and then you never see it again. And apparently what happened was he was like not a smoker and couldn't pull it off. He kept hacking his lungs up every time he lit a cigarette. So they just abandoned the idea of him smoking. They were like, all right, just as long as we show the lighter, it'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, because after he hits the kid, I noticed he pulled out one smoke, but he lit it, but it was gone. Like in the next scene, he gave it up.
Yeah, instantly. Right.
Yeah, that's it. No one likes a quitter, Peter. That's
that's funny. I like that.
The other person who I think really, from I know him from The Burbs.
I think we were going there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're. Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. And I love that movie.
Courtney Gaines, although I like him in The Burbs, he's best in, I'm going to pull another awful 80s movie out. Can't Buy Me Love. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Right, with Jeannie, with what's his name? Patrick. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's
You shit on my house.
Courtney Gaines is You Shit on My House. Yeah, he's like the nerdy friend who doesn't hang out with the cool kids. Yeah. No, he's great. He's actually a great actor. That like no one really talks about him, but he's been in a ton of stuff. Like his filmography is crazy.
Yeah, he has such a distinct, like, unique look, and especially in Children of the Corn. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know he was 18 when they were shooting and stuff, but he just has the long red hair and just has a distinct look that is equally distinct in The Burbs, but completely different.
Yeah,
like he has the scruffy beard and. Does look so creepy and just
Cro-Magnon. He looks like Cro-Magnon. It's funny. Do you know how he got his part for Children of the Corn during the auditions? He grabbed a prop knife and held a cast member held it to his throat like he was taking him hostage, and they freaked out. They freaked out, but they were like, once he of course revealed that he was, they were like, "This is awesome. We're going to give you the part."
Yeah.
Whoa, dude, and that's like his first movie too, isn't it? So it's like.
Yeah.
Damn, kid.
Yeah, he came in making an impression.
That's awesome.
John Franklin, the guy who plays Isaac. Do you know what else he's in?
So I saw him in an episode of what's that one with John Landis where he's an angel or something like that.
Highway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Landon?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I saw him in an episode because my mom really liked that show, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What? I never knew that.
That's amazing. That was not where I was going.
Oh, okay.
The one this blew my mind. He is cousin It in the Addams Family movie.
Yep, he is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because he's short of stature.
Yeah.
I mean, those are big movies. He got paid on that.
Oh yeah.
Well, he actually so he was doing an Atari 2600 commercial at the time, just prior to this movie when they were doing casting. And so he was going out for the role of Isaac, and basically, you see his hair and they were like, God, what a fucked up haircut. He had his hair cut like Spock for the Atari game that he was doing the commercial for. And they were like, this is perfect. Just leave your hair that way.
Oh my God.
We got you. Yeah.
Poor kid, but good for him. That's what got him the role.
Yeah.
And he was 24.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
But
yeah,
he
that's right.
played, and I was just thinking, like, he was so creepy, and part of it was that his voice still had that like higher
Adolescent,
pitch. Adolescent. You know, he's
Yeah, it
like
was
kind of
higher pitched,
screechy.
Yeah, so I've always suspected that that's a side effect of his genetic disorder. I've always
think you're
suspected
right.
it's a side
Yeah.
effect because it is very distinct. It is
Yeah.
very distinct.
Yeah. I looked at what the disorder was, and I couldn't figure it out. And there didn't seem to be a lot on that. I don't know if anyone else found that.
I forget the name. A while back, I've heard of the name, but I forget. But yeah, it was my understanding he had a genetic disorder. I forget what it is, but it stunts his growth is the main side effect. But I always suspected his voice was a little unique sounding because of it too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, he really is kind of the underrated. He's kind of a linchpin to the movie. He propels the movie. And he does it. He knocks it out of the ballpark.
Yeah,
He's perfect for that role.
Yeah.
He's perfect for it.
I mean, honestly, between him and Courtney Gaines as Malachi, they make the movie. I mean, they do better than Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton, who are more established.
100%. Like when you're a kid, that's who you guys remember. You remember Isaac and Malachi. They were just so scary.
Yeah.
Especially in that opening scene where like Malachi is just looking through the diner window with his hat.
Yeah.
Just nods,
Yeah.
When Isaac comes back and starts yelling Malachi at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I quoted that 100 times. I mean, I love that. So great.
I was gonna say I forgot when I was rewatching the movie for the podcast. I was like, I forgot how crazy the opening scene is.
Yeah.
Where of course it's an establishing 3 years ago where the kids take over the town. They kill all the parents, all the adults, everybody. And of course, Job and Sarah, who are brother and sister, are the ones that are not, they're in the cult, but they're also this doesn't feel right. We want to get out of here. We want to go back to being kids. They remember what their old lives were like. But yeah, that opening scene is nuts.
Yeah, and then it kind of propels the movie forward with what it's rolling with. They've killed off the adults, and then they've kind of set the stage that this is going to be a town run by children, and in fact, it is. And then you have our two, main characters kind of stumbling into this town, and they even use the old man at the gas station to kind of as a decoy, to kind of keep people away or whatever. But that kind of springboards and sets the tone for the rest of the movie and stuff.
That poor dog.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, we're all dog people over here. So that was originally they were going to have, so after the old man finds the dog's the bandana on the inside of the hood, they were originally going to have the corpse of the dog there, and they could not figure out how to do it within their shoestring budget with that. There was supposed to be so much more gore and so many more bodies in this movie, but apparently Stephen King basically at the last minute asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars for no explicit reason. I was going to say he's blowing. It's all coke. He's doing it all. This is Joel and I were looking. This is only a few years before Maximum Overdrive, which was peak.
Shit.
Right.
Motor sugar,
cocaine.
Right. Yeah. It was Bolivian marching powder.
That is cocaine.
So they did. They paid him out, and it chipped away at their already meager budget for the film. So they ended up. I mean, when you rewatch it, if you see that hey, this doesn't make sense, or actually we don't get a lot of gore, or this scene doesn't make it's because they cut so much, or didn't film a lot. They just didn't have the budget for it.
Well, they only had about $800,000 as their total budget. Now, I don't know if that's before or after the cocaine cut.
It's after.
It's after.
They had $1.5 million, I think, prior to that.
So they made about $14.5 million from the box office.
Wow.
So this movie made a lot of money.
That's good for the meager film budget.
Which is why there's 12 sequels. Right?
Yeah, no kidding. There's a fuck ton.
I was gonna say, which I dove into this because we're both media collectors, and I have every single Children of the Corn except one, and the one I'd never even heard of, didn't even know existed. Children of the Corn Runaway.
What? When is that? I don't remember that one at all.
That was in like 2018.
Oh wow!
My God.
No way.
Yeah, it stars
I didn't know they were making
a little girl
recently.
in a red dress. Is basically what it is. She's like the star. Yeah, Runaway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Children of the Corn Runaway.
It's on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's happening. If it's on Tubi, it's happening.
Yeah, and it is available on physical media, so I will have to own it, but it has some rocking scores for reviews like you could imagine.
Nice.
Yep. 13% Rotten Tomatoes, 3.7 out of 10 IMDb. So
that's perfect. Yeah, we have Joel on our pod. We have Joel as a numbers guy, so he always chronicles all that stuff, and it's always fun to get a kick out of like the ratings and how much money they had and what they did with it.
Well, you'll see sometimes with these movies that like there's a really big disconnect between. I like to look at the IMDb score, which for this one I think is like 5.6 or something.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like what regular people think. And then the meta score for this is 44, which is like what critics said. And so the critics, we're not real keen on this movie. But when you go into that, you'll normally see there's like one or two that bombs it, and everyone else is pretty good on it. I thought it was actually pretty well directed considering what they had to work with.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's barely script, right? It's 17 pages as source material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Fritz Kirsch, the director who took it on, was not a horror movie guy at all. In fact, I think between him and George Goldsmith, who rewrote the screenplay, they said George Goldsmith said he wrote it as an allegory for the Iranian Revolution. That had happened. Yeah,
interesting.
And so the stand-in, I mean, we're talking about this sort of, paganist religious belief system going on here. That for him was a metaphor for Ayatollah Khomeini and how the dangers of religion and theocracy can oppress people and all that stuff. So I was like, that all went over my head. I mean, I watched it on the same level, but reading it, I was like, holy shit, which is funny
it's only
because
5 years after the revolution.
Right. But it's just to shoehorn it into a source material that it doesn't have that is really funny,
Yeah, no kidding. Like, that's nuts. I mean, honestly though, like the way the movie is formatted, there's so many cool scenes that like you could just screenshot and grab. Like if you're wanting to make like a protest thing, you could screenshot any one of these things because like not necessarily anti-religion, but it's just like, you could do a lot of things with this.
Oh yeah, no. And I think that's why this movie everyone still likes it, and it has become a classic despite all the issues that we're talking about, because it's just well done, and it has a lot of good. I mean, Stephen King's source material is legitimate. This is modernity. Yep. It's science and medicine versus religion, and the problems that come along with that. Like Bert is a doctor, right? Or he just got his own practice. I think they're on their way from the East Coast to Seattle to establish his practice, and that's why he's the outlander, right? Like he doesn't believe in what they believe in, right? He doesn't believe in any of that religion. He's making fun of the preacher that they come across on the radio stations. It's a big joke to a guy like him.
Mm-hmm. Hell, even at the very end where like Job gives him the last page, that they need to like recite or whatever. I don't know if it's like to keep the thing at bay or rather a warning or something like that from the Bible. He's like, what the hell does this mean?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, she has to come up with the answer, right? Like she's the one who points out the fire connection, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Bert's kind of low key a dickhead. He's like the worst part of the movie.
Totally is.
He
For
is.
someone who's supposed to be a doctor, he seems to have like zero empathy. Like, I can only imagine his bedside manner.
I know. Right. I love how when he gets stabbed, he does the thing you're not supposed to do and yanks the knife out.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, doctor.
Cauterize that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's funny, speaking again of the difference between the short story and the movie, in the short story, he's not a doctor. He was a he was a medic in the Navy. Who was in Vietnam. And so he'd seen a lot of shit. And instead of having a tire iron in his trunk, he had a gun in his trunk. Also, instead of just passive aggressively not committing to Vicky, he is like overtly antagonistic and like he smacks her around. Oh yeah, no, he smacks her around, beats her up, and it's just like this guy is out and out the bad guy in the literature, but in film they cleaned it up, and made them at the end a lovey-dovey couple.
Right. Well,
and they made them a lot younger.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like in the book, or at least the little bit that I was able to read, like when they first hit the kid, like he, like, of course, you would of course be in hysterics, like, oh fuck, what did I just do? Because this kid just wanders out of the cornfield, boom, get him, and like, of course, the Vicky is very much in hysterics and is like ready to vomit and all this other stuff, and he is just had enough of her, like, and it's like, dude, why aren't you feeling the same way right now? Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's kind of, you're not sure if it's the screenplay or if it's King's original stuff, but King is, if you just look at the text, he's kind of a misogynist.
Oh, 100%.
Like look at Linda Hamilton, right? Vicky's role, and this is someone who later that year becomes badass Terminator woman, and she is helpless. And like you just said, she's shaken up, and he can't take time to take care of her. Like, she's vulnerable. There is no, to drop a collaborator with both of us, the final girls. She's like the antithesis of a final girl in this movie. Even though she survived, she does nothing to like assert herself or her agency over him.
Yep.
Yeah. Fortunately, she's the one that gets, tied up on the cross. She has to be saved. The poor girl.
Right.
Yeah, and like the one scene where she gets taken away by the boys, I was just like, Sarah Connor would never.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They'd all be dead.
They would all be gone.
Even the Linda Hamilton Stranger Things would have fought him off.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, she's a little Billy B.A. in that one too. So.
Yeah. I think the other thing with the movie that kind of, and again, I liked it, and I, from the first time I saw it, it scared me in a different way. I love slashers in general, and they sort of turn this into a slasher, even though it probably is more folk horror than anything. Yeah. Right? Like, everything's an oral tradition. There's a storytelling aspect. Did you guys ever see the 1974 film The Wicker Man? Have you heard of it?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
And the remake with Nicolas Cage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Joel saw that. Yeah. Well, the original, the OG one really reminded me of that, right? There's a lot of through lines with how, the town is run through its own sort of pagan rituals, right? That eschew traditional Judeo-Christian beliefs. And then the Outlander is Bert and Vicky instead of whatever the officer's name was in that one, right? And then eventually he's the fool. Now, if you followed the short story, it would have been beautiful, because the end they would have gotten killed just like in Wicker Man, but they had to clean it up and go a different route.
Well,
I thought that was cool.
Looks a little like just to use a more modern one, Midsommar, with like the crown she has when she's crucified.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting, like the way they did that.
Yeah, and one thing I thought about, and I text Ivy this, is rewatching it. I kind of took a step back, and to me, the movie has some depth to it, because, in my opinion, you could actually categorize this as a possession or poltergeist type movie, where it's a haunted object, because the cornfield is basically kind of like an attachment object, and then a poltergeist is then haunting that object, which in other movies has been, things or even houses, but this is a whole cornfield. And I kind of was like, I've never looked at this movie that way, but you categorize it as like a poltergeist type movie.
Yeah. He who walks behind the rose.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, again, it was originally written as, it was supposed to be a physical being that was green with red eyes, right? And you have that, but they didn't have the budget to do that. So they made it, okay, it's just this entity. It's this amorphous entity, which we see in those awful graphics at the end. The cloud go up. But it's like that thing, like you're saying, Mark, it possesses not just the cornfield, the whole town, which seems to exist in its own space. So what was it? In the movie, it's 3 years since they overthrew the adults, right, and killed them. In the short story, it's 12 years. This place has to exist. How does it exist without being discovered for all these years? So Joel asked me, or we were discussing the idea of King's multiverse, all of the, stuff connects. Yeah. And I ended up looking, I'm going to forget the name of it, but the other sign that they kept trying to get to, the other town, Hemmingford. Hemmingford. So Hemmingford, was the stand. That was
Hemmingford home.
Excellent. So they couldn't get there. It wasn't that they were turning the wrong way. It was that whatever this demonic being is that is not letting them. They're just going to be drawn. Yeah, they're going to be drawn to the town.
That's so cool. What?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But because of Stephen King's multiverse, but cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody was mentioned something about Randall Flagg. I don't know if that was in the group chat with Michael because he's the other.
Oh, really?
King. And the connection with Randall Flagg because that would connect with Hemmingford home.
But the little girl, the way now again, the little
Sarah?
boy and the little girl are not in the story, but the way they're used, it's as though she has the Shining, right? Which multiple people have the Shining in that universe, right? Like there's the Christopher Walken's character from Dead Zone, right? Like there's a bunch of people, but so I thought that was an interesting connection. I had not caught that until he looked it up, but.
No, I recognized it immediately. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and I love The Stand. It's like beat up to death. The copy I have is from like the early 90s when I was in high school. It has no cover.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because like the one that I have has like the weird blue cover, and it's got like these red eyes that are piercing the cover of it. That's my copy of The Stand.
Awesome.
Did you guys notice?
Back to the story of the bean with the Jesse said he was green with red eyes or yellow eyes?
Red eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Ivy, can you hold up that copy of Night Shift again real quick?
Yeah, sure can.
So the story, Children of the Corn, like you said, is in that collection. That book and that cover is on the dashboard of Bert and Vicky's car in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
I did not notice that.
That's cool.
So they love self-referential stuff and multiverse stuff and King universe. So I love those kind of Easter eggs all the time, like snuck into the movie. And also before we move on, I know we went through a lot of the cast, but since we just mentioned Sarah, whose name is Anne-Marie McAvoy, she was in, I have to get this in because she wasn't really in anything else, but she was in Full House. She was a recurring character on Full House. I just want to put that out there. That's all.
That's cool. Well, if I may put one other thing out there, as far as like an actor, the one that plays Amos that has like the little pentagram on his chest.
Yeah, I know.
He's got an amazing chest. I hope he's over 80.
Oh no!
Damn.
He was
Ivy, I was listening to it.
Wasn't he?
meathead. Yeah, he was 19. He was 19.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
All right.
What he's in? He's in Point Break.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the bank robbers in Swayze's crew.
That makes a whole lot of sense because he's definitely got that whole duh.
He's a goober. Yeah. He's like, I'm 18, bro. I'm gonna go get killed.
Yeah.
He's also from Return of the Living Dead, and he's like Chuck.
That's right.
That one. He's like the doofy dude that's like trying to Cassie or Casey the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Return of the. Oh man, I got to watch that again. I did not pick up on that.
One of my favorite.
I didn't. I haven't seen it in a minute, but yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was listening to I often during the research for whatever movie we're going to do, I like listen to other podcasts and see what they're saying about it. And Ivy, it's funny that you mentioned that because I listened to like 4 different podcasts on Children of the Corn, and 2 out of the 4 at some point were like, yeah, that guy was hot. Like that guy's chest was.
Oh my god,
Jeannie, can we get a ruling on this, Jeannie?
Yes, of course it was hot.
All right.
And he had kind of a Tom Cruise look to him too, which when this movie came out was definitely, there was just something. There's something about him. He was very pretty, but don't open your mouth. Like
yeah, that's accurate.
I get that all the time.
No. Don't speak. You don't need to say a word.
Just take your shirt silently.
Off. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So speaking of just another factoid that I wanted to throw out there, that because we were talking about how it was directed and how they had to work away from what the source material was, who was originally they were looking for to direct this movie?
No.
Sam Raimi is who they
wanted. That would have been amazing.
And he turned them down. I don't know. There wasn't a reason given, but I think he was starting to work on the ideas with Evil Dead 2 because that fits in that time. That would be the next vehicle he came out with. So
Evil Dead 85 is it 85 when that came out
for Evil Dead 2? Oh, I don't know, but I know that I was saying that like he's probably in the infant stages of conceiving of that, how he was going to redo his initial Evil Dead. I think it would have been obviously an entirely different movie. It would have been fucking awesome in its own way, in a different way. But I would not do that just because I want him to do Evil Dead 2. We can't have that fuck up the time space continuum and have that not.
My college experience would never be the same.
That's right.
Would have been interesting to see the the Deadite cam go through the corn.
Right. Oh yeah, through the corn. That would have been perfect. It's so funny you say that. Why did they not do that? That's so. That they should have had a corn
opportunity. Yeah. I mean, they did a little bit in the end but it was like slowly knocking down the rows.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a Deadite cam. It was like a terrible version of it. But they did kind of do like a above looking at some rows. As the cloud is coming in at the end, they kind of did.
They did a neat shot with He Who Walks Behind the Rose, where it was underground and the soil was like being burrowed down.
I love this special effect.
Joel looked this up. Do you want to tell them how they were able to pull that off with like no budget?
Sure. I should have known this. Like looking at it, I should have guessed. Mm-hmm. They buried a wheelbarrow with it tied to I think a tractor, and then they just drove off with it, and it's pulling an actual physical wheelbarrow under the ground, which is just
cool.
And it looks great. It looks spectacular.
It's very Bugs Bunny.
Very Tremors.
Yeah. It really is.
Tremors. Sure.
Tremors, yeah.
That's a better analogy. I just thought about how Bugs Bunny's going to spring up. Hey, what's up, Doc?
Yeah.
I was with you with Bugs Bunny.
What did you guys think about the pacing of the movie? I felt like it was pretty uneven, like 40 minutes.
Slow.
Yeah, they're still in the car way longer than I remember as a kid watching. Like they're in the car forever.
Yeah.
The first 10 minutes is great.
Oh, first 10 minutes is badass. You get all the kills right off the bat. The cyanide in the coffee
is also great. Everything else is soggy.
Well, I think what you're getting is an hour and a half movie stretched from a 17-page document, right? I think they have to fill it in. There was supposed to be a lot more, as I understand it. It was supposed to be, so when they reference right before they put Vicky up on the cross, on the corn cross, the man in blue. Yeah, the blue man or the blue right?
Yeah.
He was, there was a whole separate thing of Officer Hotchkiss, who Job references, and that's where Job gets the page of the Bible. Like Hotchkiss, the officer had this whole plan that he had enacted to get rid of the kids and stop this revolution or whatever.
So they kind of just slip that in at the end.
It kind of is like Wicker Man. You get a police officer that comes in.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
It lines up so well. There's so much going on too. It's like, especially with King stuff, like Mark, you made that connection of it. It just, being also a supernatural horror movie and a folk movie and a slasher and like all of these sort of genre bending things. King has that. So we did Maximum Overdrive a while ago.
Nice.
And Maximum Overdrive is funny because you know what you're getting when you're watching it, right? But there is a little bit that Emilio Estevez slips in about the sweeper, the broom of the broom, the intergalactic sweepers or whatever. Basically the idea that King had written, which like this huge expansive universe, was like aliens were going to take over Earth and they didn't want humanity to fuck it up. They just wanted all the resources that Earth had to offer. So instead of risking their own lives to come down there and invade Earth, they basically just somehow were able to telepathically like, galvanize the machines, infect the machines to turn against them, to do their jobs for them. And then they were going to come in and colonize once we were all dead. And I'm like, but it's all said in like 2 sentences that Emilio Estevez says. And you're like, oh, that was King's entire idea that they just like threw away. And I feel like and I feel like that is here for Children of the Corn too. Like he had bigger ideas going on. I mean, there was the rechristening of all the kids, which I can't remember if it's in the movie or not, but
I don't remember
all of the biblical names that they have, Malachi, Isaac, Job, they were like Bill and Sue and James. They were all regular names. And when they took over the town, Isaac basically, you know, dead name. They were done with that. You were rechristened. That was it. And now you are something else. And that's what I think. They open up a ledger at some point, and he sees like the birth and death dates, but it doesn't really match up. And he's trying to figure out what he's looking at. It's because they died in quotes and then were reborn.
But Job was named Job from the beginning.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because in the opening scene they call him Joby.
Well, again, he didn't exist in the source material, so that's so whatever.
Might have it.
You know, he and Sarah weren't there.
You know the other King work this reminds me of. I mean, just a little, right? Like this one part. To me, when I used to, I think it's the 2007 version of The Mist. The most disturbing part of The Mist, other than the ending, which is amazing. Is the zealot lady in the store. She's
in the supermarket.
Absolutely terrifying. And to me, I had not thought of what I'm going to have to spend a little time thinking about what you said, Mark, about it being a possessed object thing. That's really interesting to me. But I'd always thought of this as like a zealotry, like, you know, what happens when a cult takes over, you know, something. And that was what was creepy to me. And so it's always reminded me a little bit of that, or at least since I've seen it.
Yeah, because for me, I often, you know, like with rewatching it and kind of analyzing it, you know, that's when it dawned on me, like this at its core is a possession movie. And then it expands out from there. But then once you get to thinking like that, are the children possessed, or is it more of a cult type mentality to where Isaac is just cuckoo, or maybe Isaac's possessed, and then he influences everyone, you know, he Jim Joneses them, or however you want to call it, and, you know, kind of runs everything. You know, it's like we don't know, and that's kind of a mystery of the film, because they don't really reveal it. Like the kids act like it could go either way. You know, the girl at the end with the little sickle, like she kind of half gets her mojo broken, you know, towards the end of the movie.
I swear to God, that girl's pregnant.
She might be.
Like, she's wearing the maternity looking outfit.
So that's a great catch, because they originally did have her pregnant in the movie, and they cut that whole storyline. I'm not sure if that was a budget thing or simply they didn't want to have to run the numbers on whether it was appropriate or not to have underage girls getting pregnant. But in the source material, again, there is many 13, 14-year-old girls that are all pregnant because they have to keep that town going. They have to keep repopulating, and they're all living off of, you know, their own crops, which is, you know, just basically corn and whatever they can do off of that. So So that was a great catch. That's definitely what was going on.
Yeah, because I was seeing a couple other girls and like what they're wearing and stuff like that, and I'm just like, that looks so ugly. Like if it were me, I would not be wearing that. There's one girl,
you rock a moo-moo.
I mean, Vicky is not doing any favors on the fashion front either. What Linda Hamilton is wearing, and that is just
you don't like her outfit?
Oh boy, that outfit! Did you like it?
I kind of liked it. Like I like in a weird way. Like it's a chill mom outfit. I don't know how to describe that.
In 1985,
right.
Linda,
very 80s.
Those shorts were absurd that she was wearing. Those are the ones that you wear. But I live in sweatpants, so what do I know about fashion?
Like, because like ladies' pants nowadays, like especially shorts, like no pockets. I'm sure those things had pockets.
Oh,
for sure.
They had
pleats. They definitely had pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's the only reason why I'm like, that's a choice outfit. I'm happy for her. She looks hot in that outfit. Those mom jeans. She looks good.
She had it all happening. The corn thing was funny to me, like that they were basically living entirely off. I mean, I know you're supposed to suspend your disbelief, but the idea that they were just eating corn, that was like their only way to survive for all these years. And I was reading about like what was really going on. And at that time, it was funny. There was actually a surplus of corn in America. Oh. And so the government was told farmers in certain areas to stop growing corn, and they would pay them. They would subsidize it and pay them to stop growing corn. And so the farmers who let them use the lot, and a lot of this was filmed in different towns in Iowa, actually not Nebraska where it's set. And they paid them, they basically got paid twice. The farmers made money to let them film there, and they made money to get paid not to grow corn. So they made out like, Stephen King made out to do his blow, and the farmers made out to let them film there. That was basically the big party
together.
I mean, that's a hell of a party.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they were doing in Clown in the Cornfields. They were having an awesome swinging party.
I liked that movie.
That was a good one.
We did too, yeah.
And, actually talking about Clown in the Cornfields, that's kind of cool because, like, if you've read the book, which I got to read the book,
you did.
A book that I
didn't even know there was a book.
Finish.
Yeah, it's based off of the book.
Yeah.
So there might be a reason for that because it's kind of a teeny, teen type book or whatever.
It's very teenage. I felt very old reading it.
Yeah.
What is the book? What is the movie?
Clown in the Cornfields.
Oh.
It's pretty recent. It's like 2 years old, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. About 2 years old.
But the cool thing about comparing these two movies to side by side is, and with the source material, is like Clown in the Cornfield, the book and the movie have wildly different plots, but with good plot twists, because if you've read the book, then you don't expect these plot twists to happen because you're like, oh, I know the story. I know what's going to happen, but it takes it a completely different direction.
Oh,
and that's kind of what it's like with like the little short story versus this movie. Like you think you know how this is going to go, but it's like, oh no, it starts out with this loving couple that they actually like each other. And then they survive at the end. I thought I knew what was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. There's a lot of different, like this movie actually wasn't the first adaptation of the short story. There was a movie that came out. It was a short film that came out a year prior in '83 called Disciples of the Crow, which also covered the exact same source material. I've never seen it, and I don't know where it's available, but just doing some research. Yeah, no, super cool. And I think the idea of doing a short film would probably work better rather than trying to stretch this thing out to a feature length, I
was thinking that, like, as you were talking about it earlier, that this would have been a really good episode in, like, Tales from the Crypt or
Creep Show,
even more so. Because King was part of Creep Show, right?
Yeah, you could make that work for sure.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah, and Disciples of the Crow makes me think it's like The Crow 5 or something.
Right. Got many children crows running around.
Yeah.
They all died in horrible ways.
I would have totally been like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah. Like sure. Mark's got the whole collection of it. Shit, I got that one.
I got
that one.
Yeah.
It's Bridget Fonda and Jackie Chan. I don't know. This is 2 actors and actresses I thought of.
Perfect.
It's a sweet movie. It's great.
So, had any of you guys seen like the remake of Children of the Corn where there's a chick in Isaac's place?
No. Wait, is that from 2020? I know there's a
where it's got the girl on the cover with the sickle.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it.
I saw that it happened. Right, like I was aware of its existence.
Oh yeah, I have it. I don't remember. I remember watching it, but details. Yeah, they're fuzzy. Man. I cannot commit that I made it all the way.
I mean that speaks volumes when you can't. You know what I mean? If you're not going to get through it, it's like, well, I guess it probably wasn't very good.
Because I was going to say, let me give a shout out to the CLZ app because that's what I track everything on.
There you go.
It just felt like they were just kind of rehashing Pet Sematary and like, oh, well, let's make it a girl, and it's like,
yeah, that's whatever. Well, Joel and I talked about this. We have a theory that the longer the amount of time between an original movie and the remake of that movie or reimagining, if it's like 30 years in between, it can only go one of 2 ways. It's either a phenomenal thing that someone who loved the original so much and it's like their life's work and they redid it, or it is a terrible way to try to make money off of the original name, you know? Yeah. And it sounds like that's a little more the latter.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because just like all I know is I just saw a trailer for it and I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I remember that the lead is like a taller girl because they kind of Malachi her and made her bigger than the rest of the cast, the same way Malachi was.
Oh God, I do remember this.
Much about it.
I tried to block this out. I remember this now because she's tall and kind of got red hair.
Yes, it's kind of short. And I just remember being like, oh, that's kind of a female flip for Malachi. But then I don't even remember if they did that with an Isaac. I have no clue. I
just assumed she was Isaac and Malachi rolled into one.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, but you need both of them to interplay that and like.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that struggle for power. Like, no, he talked through me.
Right. But that whole thing is funny because the revelation at the end is that because you're watching it, at least I watched it and always thought, well, Isaac is bullshitting, right? He's using this being, pretending that he's a vessel for this being, that he's, a prophet of sorts or an apostle, but like he's lying and he's manipulating the kids, but he's not. He actually is the voice of this thing. And Malachi tries to call his bluff, like, you're bullshitting. And he really does talk through me. And like everything he was saying was true, which is crazy.
Yeah, I do like when he comes back and he's got the real deep voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
They were supposed to have him, again, budget stuff. They couldn't make it happen. Practical effects. He was supposed to have like an exoskeleton, like half of his body was ripped out. It was going to be like a crazy thing. They had no budget for it. So they basically did a little bit of makeup and had him choke Malachi because they couldn't even film a good kill scene.
Yeah, they put some fake blood and told him to rub some dirt on it, and then that was their makeup.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts my heart, as we're all horror movie connoisseurs here, that just not enough of that.
We didn't see a lot of that. We saw a lot of the blood spatter, right? That they would cut away, and so you were inferring that somebody is getting slashed.
And on that last shot too, I can tell they didn't have any makeup budget because it's shot from basically here up on Isaac. It's not even a pan
full
back.
Body. Yeah.
You barely see Malachi in it. So it's like, they literally just threw dirt and a little bit of Heinz ketchup on his ass.
Terrible.
Like, there you go.
Terrible.
Get in front of the
mascara, and they were ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Well, the director
messed his hair up a little bit too.
Go in different directions.
Yeah, it did.
Fritz Kirsch, the director, also apparently was a big Hitchcock fan, and so in watching like Psycho, in the opening scene of Psycho where she gets killed in the shower, right? Everyone remembers her getting stabbed, and it was this brutal, multiple repeat stabbings. But if you rewatch it, there's at no point did this show impact of the knife on her. Right. So you're not actually seeing what you think you're seeing, but your brain fills in the spaces. He tried to do that similarly with Children of the Corn. So at the beginning, the diner scene when they're killing everyone, which is one of the best scenes, and they put his one of the older guy's hands in the meat slicer.
Yep.
Right. But you never actually see any, you don't see impact of anything, not meat cleavers, nothing. Everyone gets killed, but you can't see any impact from anything.
It's pretty effective. I mean, like, it reminds me a lot. So we did an episode on Texas Chainsaw, and
that's why I'm wearing this shirt. My Nubbins 86.
Love it.
I saw you did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah.
I stumbled onto that this afternoon while I was at work and listened to I got about halfway through it, and I was like,
"That's so fun!" I read like a whole book on like the making of. It was so.
Texas 2 is my all-time favorite movie.
Texas 2 is my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's his favorite too.
I have a collection. I mean, you name it, I pretty much have it. I have a huge collection of like anything Chop Top, anything Leatherface. Hell, I have my thigh is a picture of Chop Top where he slices his neck and says Death, like death eating a cracker. That's on my thigh.
There was one. I'll save that story for after we're done recording. Remind me, there's a funny Joel story about Texas Chainsaw 2 that I'll tell off camera.
I get too excited. But Texas Chainsaw, I think, is one of the few like perfect horror movies. Like it's. I mean, it may not be just a perfect horror movie. It might be a perfect movie, right? Like
it's in the National Archives. I would argue that it's amazing. It is a perfect movie.
And people think of it as very gory, and there's just not very much gore at all. It's really tense. So
I think the brutality and kind of the angles of how it's shot, like thrusting someone onto the meat hook, I think is really, and then the way that she squirms, and even with her rising up out of the freezer and stuff, cooler, and then the scene where she's thrust through the bones. I mean, those are kind of what made it brutal,
I think you're right.
Back in the 70s and stuff like that. And that's where I think a lot of it is. And I love how he hangs on that scene uncomfortably long where she's in the room with the bones. He doesn't just pan in and pan out and there you go. She's looking around with bloodshot eyes and sees everything and just hangs on that for an uncomfortable amount of time. Yeah.
I was gonna say that the level of artistry for Texas Chainsaw, the original, is something that obviously we don't see here. This is in large part because New Line Cinema, I think, New World Cinema, which was a Roger Corman production company.
Roger Corman.
Right. So all this makes sense. It makes sense that they would take this material and just be like, oh, actually, we're going to turn it into slasher. And at the end, which I know you guys definitely saw, it's like, oh, it's over. And they get in the car and then she jumps out of the back seat of the car for that last scare. It's like they tacked that on at the end because they wanted it to be this slasher movie. Yep. And Linda Hamilton actually got pissed and was like, why would we go back to the car? It makes us look dumb. And one of the producers said, we want the audience to think you're dumb. So it's like, all right, I guess that's what we're in for. So,
well, if you don't do that, you don't get the Jason jumping out of the water moment, right?
Carrie.
Or Carrie. Carrie still scares me. Like right now, I could go watch Carrie, and that scene would get me.
I'm afraid of what will happen, but I have never seen Carrie. Shamefully. What's going to have to happen now?
That's the next episode is Carrie.
Yeah. Right. That's a deal.
Yeah, it's so I guess in hindsight, so for those of you listening that haven't seen the movie, I know we've kind of just gone over completely everything. I guess in a summary, what would be each of your individual opinions? Each take a second to kind of go over a summarization of what you think of the movie, what recommendations you'd have for it, and all that sort of stuff. So I'll say, whoever wants to take it away, feel free.
I can jump right on it. I like this movie. It's a solid B+ for me. Partially because I'm a sucker for slashers, and that's the way they structured it. I'm also, there's like the idea that most horror movies, you need to have some vehicle, some way, some device to get people isolated, right? Mm-hmm. And for this, they had them isolated in Gatlin. They can't get out of town. They can't go anywhere. There's no way. There's no the phones aren't working. There's no cell phones. There's nothing. Here's how we isolate them. And that's sort of what a friend of ours deemed siege horror, where you just hold up. Think of like The Purge, where every night it's a siege. You're in your home, you're trying to hold up, and that's what they are. They're trying to make it out of this town alive through the night. And I love that kind of stuff. Recommendations for improvement. Probably just make it a shorter film, which it's probably going to have to be a short film, not a full-length feature film, and you can do what you want. Or you go the complete opposite way and you turn this into a serial thing where you make it,
I think
an 8-part series where you can actually flesh out and get a backstory to Isaac. How did he come to power? What happened with him? And have all that stuff fleshed out. You could, with that kind of stuff now on HBO and all these other prestige TV, you could make that work now with the right actors. But that's my thought. Solid B+. I love it, and it's a cult classic. So I'll watch it whenever.
Awesome.
I never thought about that, turning it into like a series like that. I was like, okay, no, I can see that working.
Sure. And then we get Bert's whole fucking graduating from med school. We can hate him more. They should just make him like,
We need to have an episode on the police officer and his
Yeah. I would kind of agree with that too, Jesse. Yeah. I really love this movie. Anything with creepy kids, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you add in the religious aspect of it, and that that's always creepy to me. I agree, Jess. I kind of want to know more about the backstory, right? Because they reference all these things, like he who walks behind the rose. And first you're just like, oh, okay, he's talking about God because it's religious, right?
Yeah.
And the blue man, which we know is the cop. But I kind of want to know more about the lore behind it. Like, Isaac came to town. Has he come to town before? Is this a cyclical thing? Are we into with it being cyclical?
Well, they did have a corn drought, right? The opening scene is there's a drought.
That's right.
Right. So this is, and it's not God, because they rip pages out of the Bible and they rewrite it the way they want. So this is some other being posing as God or a God, and it did help. Hey, look, whatever this entity was right. They regrew their crops, right?
Yep.
So
water,
Yeah. Yeah, I think more of that. I thought the pacing was pretty good. We didn't spend a lot of time looking for the kids, right? I mean, we could have, and they, Bert and Vicky, even though they're stupid, they seemed to pick up on something was weird. Yeah. Right away. We didn't have a lot being oh no, we'll just go here and do this. It was nah, what the fuck is going on, right? And every time they saw kids, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? What's happening here?
Right.
Come on now. This is weird. This is weird, you guys. It's weird. So.
Well, especially when Sarah draws that picture of Vicky.
Yeah.
She's like, what the heck is this? Why'd you do that? You could have drawn anything else.
Right.
Could Sarah maybe have explained to her that I have a vision you're going to die, or maybe just let her know?
Yeah, real cryptic about fucking everything.
Yeah, she just gets in trouble for drawing.
Yeah, she's the third she's very creepy.
What they cut from the movie was Sarah and Job at the beginning when they helped Joseph try to escape, right? Which we didn't talk about in the early going. That in the source material, she draws a picture of Joseph getting killed when he tries to escape. Does she tell him? No. She's like, I was hoping that my vision was wrong this time. Yeah. Also, Joseph looks like he looks like a young Paul Rudd. I
see it.
You had me convinced it was Paul Rudd. I was like, what?
I told him it was Paul Rudd. I don't know why I did that.
So, For me, I would say, well, my youngest son is like 10, and he's starting to get into scary movies. He likes the
awesome
FNAF movies, and like, so the Five Nights at Freddy, for those that don't know what that means. But
yes.
And
I can't believe that's still around.
Those movies are fun, but I don't think they're scary. I would say if you're 10, 11, 12-ish, this is a good horror movie to cut your teeth on if you want to actually be scared, but not be scarred, right? Like, I watched like Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 9, and that's not good. Like, my hair was not great. But yeah, I think it's a good like initiation to actual scary type movies. It's definitely got some flaws. I love the idea of making it a series. I think that would be great. Welcome to Derry has shown that is a good way to do King's universe.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you guys read or listen to, because they're audiobooks too, but Doug Bradley, the guy who plays Pinhead.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He has this book series, and it's a bunch of short form horror stories called Doug Bradley's Spine Tinglers. Anyways, I love short story horror, and I think this would have been. I actually would have liked this as a short story. Like, I think this 17-page thing. Like, if this had been a half hour, I would have been amazing, right? Like, plus, right? But in its current form, I'd be like, yeah, it's like a B, right? Like, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's a special place in my heart. But it's,
and I kind of agree with you, Joel, about a horror movie for like cutting your teeth on it, because I think there's also with kids, right? There's that sweet spot at age where you're like, what? A town with no adults?
Right.
Like,
sounds
a town with a kid? Yeah, exactly.
Where we could wear suits 3 sizes too big and play Monopoly sounds fucking awesome.
Oh, that's such a cute scene. I love them playing Monopoly.
Yeah, but my son wants to jump right to Jaws, and I'm like, you will never go in the water again.
Yeah, you can't do that
right?
Not.
It's just not a good idea.
But no, I would be sad if he never swam in the Atlantic again.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, like, especially where you guys live, like, that's probably not safe to watch Jaws around where you guys live. Whereas, like, in Indiana, it's like it's a little lake. It's like
probably don't have any great whites there, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on it?
So I'm gonna give I do like this movie a lot. Like, it transports me back to my childhood because I remember seeing it a lot on TV. I would catch it quite often on like the CW channel.
Really? The CW? So it was after like Buffy or something?
No. So it would be, that's what it's known for. But like after cartoons. After the like WB cartoons would end, they would have movies right after it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would catch, horror movies. One time I caught a Nightmare on Elm Street movie once.
Nice.
But this particular time I caught Children of the Corn, and my dad, who introduced me to horror, was like, oh, you'll like it. It's pretty good. But, the thing is with catching it on TV, sometimes you run off and do something else. You get distracted, whatever. So that movie would be played so much on that channel, like every other weekend, that I would catch it in parts. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why it struck me so... The opening act struck me so hard because I'm like, whoa, I don't remember it being that violent.
Yeah.
Because I probably didn't see much of it, or it was a sanitized version of it for TV, So I think that's probably why it's been years since I've actually been able to see it. But I probably give this one, like, at least on my scale, because I grade from 1 to 10, I'd probably give this like a solid 7. Right up there with your B's. Mm-hmm. But I think like it's not a better movie, but like it kind of has a similar vibe. There's a trauma movie called Beware Children at Play.
Oh my God. I've seen some of that. Yeah.
It's very similar. For those in the audience that don't know, it is like, it's kind of got that culty vibe because these kids own it. Yeah. Nice. That's such a fun movie. Yeah. And there's I did. The craziest scene at the end is where they kill all the kids. And as becoming a mom, I hate any scenes where children get killed. But like, this was done so ridiculously that it's like, oh no. You can laugh at this. It's fine.
But it was a trauma film, so
yeah. So
I love it.
That's kind of my recommendation. Like, if you like this movie, check out this one.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I think Children of the Corn is an important film in the grand scheme of the horror genre. The one thing that I really love about this film, that not many other films do this, in my opinion, is its aura or mystique is actually larger than the movie is good. Yeah. It's a decent movie, don't get me wrong, but its importance in the horror genre is in my opinion bigger than the actual movie itself,
or even pop culture.
Yeah, because it's one of the first movies that sticks out in my head where you've got the whole evil kids and all that sort of stuff. And it's one of those movies that's insanely popular. I mean, insanely popular. Even people that are not into horror know about this movie. It's, you know, of the level, in my opinion, just below, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween. It's that next little half step below that like most everyone knows. And that's not an easy thing to do, you know, especially with the movie that's not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you can set the movie and you can really say, like, you can say whatever you want, but this is a good fucking movie. Like, you can't touch the movie itself. Children of the Corn, you can. You can pick this shit apart if you want. You can, you know, say this, that, and the other thing. I noticed how they had to remove the rear view mirror for some of their backseat shots. There was no rear view mirror when they were driving because they didn't want to show the reflection and stuff. Yeah. You can pick it apart like that, and that's totally fine. It's still a solid movie. I'm with Ivy. I'd grade it at a 7. But the significance it carries in the genre is much greater than the actual film itself. And in my head, so I'm a huge Danny McBride fan. And I swear, and I own all the Righteous Gemstones that were put out in media. But I swear there's a scene when Judy's warming up in the dressing room and she's doing a vocal warm up and she goes, "Children of the Corn," like in a thingy, and it's right before she molests BJ and like smacks his ass and it's like, "Come over and give me some of that," you know. Those of you out there that have seen it, you know the scene I'm talking about. I have to go rewatch it because in my mind she does a vocal warm up saying "Children of the Corn," and I just thought that's so awesome. So I have to go out there and thumb through it. And I've tried to pull it up on YouTube, and they skip it. They just show where she's like, "I'm all pent up, and you know, give me some of that ass," or whatever, and pulls his pants down and slaps his bare ass and stuff. It's before that, and so I'm like, "Damn it! I actually have to break down and watch that episode and see if she really does say "Children of the Corn" as a vocal warm-up."
I bet Luke can pull it up for us.
Yes. Yeah. So
I mean, that's funny. It's just like Ivy's saying, like, it's in large part because of its accessibility. I mean, we all remember it being on network TV as children. Like, you could, like you said, you could clean it up a little bit and bam, it's on network TV and we're watching it on, you know, on a Saturday afternoon.
You know, it's funny too, because like we talk about, you know, how the impact of Children of the Corn, but like the movie before it that I think of, because I remember a lot of older folks telling me about it when I was a kid. They'll reference Children of the Corn, but they're like, "But have you seen Children of the Damned from the 60s? Like, yes. A lot of older folks would basically be like, well, and when I say older, I mean like my grandparents were like, "That movie was so scary."
Yeah.
You know? Right. And it's just,
there's I remember The Simpsons doing it.
Yes.
And then there's a great British adaptation of it. Adaptation? That doesn't sound right.
Adaptation.
Sure. Adaptation. There we go. Ooh, see, I'm on spring break for like 4 days and I forget how to talk. Called Ipswich Village, and it's really good. It's really good. I've been wanting to do it on our podcast, but trying to access it is a little bit.
Well, I will say I would love to see it as long as I know that no kid's gonna die in it. Like if I know, like unless it's a silly death, then it's like okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's very much like the Village of the Damned kind of thing, with like an event that happens, and they're actually a little bit older.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, before we kind of wrap things up, I wanted to give you all a chance to kind of let our viewers know what your socials are, where they can follow, listen along with the podcast, and hopefully you can get up to, the Patreon level. I know, you were talking about earlier, so let's pump it up.
Yeah.
Jeannie, you want to give the socials?
Yeah. Although I get them confused because you do them all the time. Chopping It Up Horror Pod.
At Chopping It Up Horror Pod on Instagram. We're on Blue Sky as well. At Chopping It Up Horror Pod. We're on YouTube. We have an email address also, choppingituphorrorpod@gmail.com. You can send us anything you want, requests. We pair movies up for commonalities and through lines and motifs and everything else. We can also do standalone eps. We don't have to compare two movies. We'd have like a Prime Cuts segment, just where we cover one movie. So you can shoot us any messages on any of the social media, and we'll try to give you a request.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate you all taking time with us. It was great talking with everyone individually and as a whole. It's always good to talk shop, especially about a movie that has as much importance, as Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on. We appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely awesome. Well, with that being said,
look out for each other,
and good night, cellar dwellers.
Bye.